Yo, what's up guys, Daniel here, and today I wanted to talk to you about Titanfall 2. So the tech test is out right now. By the time I'm actually posting this, it's the last day of the last weekend of the tech test. But I wanted to share my thoughts ahead of the game's launch so that you guys knew kind of where things stood and if you should pick it up on launch day. So let's get right into it. So real quick, just as a little bit of a background for you guys, I played the first Titanfall quite a lot. I played it both on Xbox One and I played it on PC, and I really enjoyed it. It had, nice, fast, fluid gameplay. The AI characters helped fill in really large maps, which you needed large maps in order to have the Titans on there be properly playable. So it just felt really good. Its issue was a lack of overall content, no single player, a low amount of weapons, lack of variety in Titans, low customization. It's just, if I had to sum Titanfall 1 up in one word, it was just lacking. It was a quality game, just with less content than it should have had. It probably should have, for what it had, released at like $30-40, and it might have been a solid game that would have probably lasted longer, but with all the people that bought it at $60 and then were asked to buy DLC later, it just wasn't going to work. Titanfall 2 comes in, and they want to fix a lot of those issues, but it seems to have come at quite a large cost in the overall quality of the game, in my opinion. They have more weapons, they're adding a single player, we're supposed to have more variety of Titans, and so on. And in fact, I really love one of the additions they have, which is the grappling hook. That really helps, in my opinion, with the movement, and more so, it would have been really fun in the first Titanfall, but it's almost needed in this game. The thing with Titanfall 2 is that a lot of the issues that I have with it can't be just fixed in a simple patch. There are things, like in the first weekend of the tech test, there was the issue that you didn't earn Titans passively at all. It was only ever earned through kills and being on the objective, which means that, and when you died, you would lose some. So there would be certain matches where, some people wouldn't even get their Titan if you weren't doing particularly well because of that, and that doesn't fit with Titanfall. The whole thing is Titans, and unless you're playing the player versus player mode where there is no Titans, you should probably be getting one every game at minimum. That just didn't happen. Now that was fixed. The rate's been improved. There are still issues with the Titans, in my opinion, mainly that they feel like they die way too easily. But again, that's all something that can be tweaked in patch. My issue is mainly with the movement, and that's what made Titanfall, the first one, so good, was the way you would traverse the map, the fluidity. That was what made it such a, at least, perfect game for me. Like, I really like high movement, high action shooters, and so that fluid movement throughout the map, both the way that you all ran and the layouts of the map worked very well together. And it just, something clicked with that game for me, and I really enjoyed it. And then I play this tech test, and for one, the movement feels really clunky. You'll be doing like wall running, but it's nowhere like in the previous game where you could jump from wall to wall very easily and consistently. There'll be times where I'm like trying to run on a wall, and I'll go to do something else, and I'll get like stuck, even though I don't have the wall hang ability, so I shouldn't be able to just hang there. I sometimes just do, which I really don't like, and I end up having to use the grappling hook just to get myself into a situation where I can then keep moving. That grappling hook has to make up for its, in my opinion, broken movement mechanics. But more so than that, that's, again, something that they can fix, and hopefully will by the time the game launches. Again, we've only had 2 weekends a week apart, and so they've only had time to do a little bit as far as patching goes. By the time the game launches and shortly after, they'll be able to do a lot more and hopefully improve upon that part. What I'm worried about is, at this point we've played on 3 maps. None of those maps feel half as good as, like, the worst map in Titanfall, the first one. The maps just, the layouts are not designed, in my opinion, in a way that allows for that quick, fluid movement that made the first one so well. I saw this clip recently of someone who was talking about the same thing, about the maps not being as fluid. And it was showing Titanfall 1, where you could get from one side of the map to the other without ever touching the ground, without the need of a grappling hook, because they didn't have one in Titanfall 1, but where you could play and capture the flag, grab a flag, and quickly and fluidly, again, fluidity is like the key thing that made the first Titanfall so good, and it's just not there in this game. And so you could get across the map super easily and conveniently, and like, yeah, you could still be killed. That was no problem to kill people that were trying to move. But on this game, it feels like with most maps, or with every map almost, you have to be on your feet on the ground, or like, I mean, on a roof, but still essentially like boots on the ground type movement. To some extent, if you're not using the grappling hook. And being that the grappling hook is not an ability that is part of every class, it is something that you have to choose to give up another potential ability for. That's just a poor design decision. I don't know how they thought this was a good idea, but they really should have played the first Titanfall for maybe 5 minutes before designing maps on this one, because the maps were not an issue. They did not need to make this dramatic of a change, and that's where I'm really disappointed. Beyond that, you know, like, it's really sad to see, like, this franchise is finally coming to PlayStation. It wasn't on, you know, PlayStation with the first one. It was only an Xbox franchise, and now that it's finally here on PS4, it's not even, in my opinion, worth picking up on as like a launch day title. I would say, you know, maybe they will make some big changes before, and it'll help, and it might be worth picking up, so definitely keep an eye out for launch day reviews. I will not be picking this game up anytime soon. It's something where I have to see how the maps change before I decide if I'm going to drop any amount of money on this game. It's just, like, Titanfall introduced the advanced movement mechanic. Like, sure, other games had similar things before it, but it's what made it work so well that now you see it in a ton of other franchises. Let's look at, you know, all of the different Call of Duty franchises for the past few years. You know, Black Ops 3, Advanced Warfare, Infinite Warfare to an extent is going to have Black Ops 3 level advanced movement, and yet Titanfall 2 couldn't even do advanced movement as good as its first game. Why they managed to fail on that point, I don't know. Beyond the movement, let's not talk about that, or the maps, I guess. The guns are pretty fun. I really like the variety. You know, you have a regular submachine gun, you have the really small submachine gun, and they do feel very different when you're using them, which is good. I don't know how many weapons will be in the final game. Obviously, the tech test, they're not going to show everything. There's only a couple Titans, there's only 3 maps, there's only a few guns. But it's definitely already better than Titanfall 1 was as far as the variety of weapons go. The one thing I will say, please nerf the shotgun. It's really weird in that it shoots a horizontal line, but man, once you learn how to aim that at all, it's really, really powerful. That thing's range needs to be nerfed. That's really all that I think needs to be changed about it, is cut back on the range a bit. But other than that, yeah, guns are solid. The 2 Titans that we've gotten to use are pretty different from one another, so if there is, you know, 6, 7 Titans at launch, then I think it'll be good if they can all keep that nice variety. I don't know if they'll be able to manage that. I don't know, you know, what else might be in the final game. We'll have to wait and see. But man, like, if nothing else with this video, I just have to get the point out that, you know, I really wouldn't recommend picking this game up on launch day. At the very least, wait a few weeks to see both how it launches, but then also what they talk about and how things change after the launch fiasco that I imagine they will have. It seems like every game franchise nowadays is having an issue with communication at the launch of their games. So wait and see, because, like, again, for me, if you really like the first Titanfall, I don't think you're gonna like this one. It's not the same. It shouldn't, at this point, it shouldn't even be called a Titanfall game. If anything, it's more of a spin-off, in my opinion. Yeah, man, I was really hoping that when I decided that I was going to play the tech test both weekends and make a video about it, that it would be on a much happier note, and that I could say, look at all this great changes, but that's ended up not being what happened. Yeah, thank you guys again for watching. I really don't have much more else to say on Titanfall 2 for right now. I'll give you guys like a little bit of a news update if I see that things have changed and I decide to pick it up and give it a shot. But yeah, as of right now, I won't even be planning on picking this game up until months after launch. So that about wraps it up though, you guys. Thank you again for watching. If you liked or disliked this video, you know where those buttons are. Make sure and subscribe so you don't miss any more content coming out for me here soon. That'll be it. Thank you again for watching. Bye.